Our opinions aren't too tough, rough, or gruff. We are proof that you don't have to be an expert to have an opinion. So just
Shut up and sit down.
This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. We're going to recover from last week. Ka-chow. We're going to recover from last week. We're going to bring out some of the stuff we did last week.
We're going to recover?
I'm going to recover because that was chaos. But we're going to bring back the interns. We're going to talk about all things football. Maybe some non-football related stuff. I still miss football.
The reason for the season, it is March, which means the madness.
Yeah, we're going to hint on that.
Hint.
Lots of things.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Basketball was like major news over the weekend.
Yes. Yeah, Michigan asserted its dominance in a lot of sports.
Oof.
Michigan beat Ohio State this weekend.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up, Jim. I literally read about that.
No, I'm going to grip it and rip it. Michigan beat Ohio State in wrestling. Michigan beat Ohio State in football.
Michigan beat everybody in the Big Ten in wrestling. Not just Ohio State.
I wasn't gonna hammer on you because I had no room to talk. But yes,
you could say that, and that's cool. I think we all know that Cale Sanderson only cares about the national meet.
I tell you what, I hope he comes through. I hope Michigan. This is just a fart in the wind. We'll see. Let's get started. Let's do this.
Well, I mean, we are one day closer to the madness that is March. I mean,
yeah.
There's already been some tickets punched.
Are we doing a show for that? When's that show?
Next Tuesday.
Get pumped.
Next Thursday it'll drop. Maybe even come out Wednesday. We'll see. But yeah, the Murray State Racers, the Longwood Lancers, and Loyola Chicago, aka Sister Jean's team.
Hey, what is it? Hey, Sister Jean.
Hang on. Go. Sister.
You're not using Hang On Sloopy for Sister Jean.
We've already done it.
You weren't a part of that.
I'm
here to put last year. You did it last year.
It was pre-Jim enabling or gambling.
We had some gambling news too. Don't forget about
that. Oh yeah, we do.
Maybe NFL Combine happened, records happened, and then we're taken away.
Many things.
I feel like it was all for the gram, or just for social media influence anyway. So yeah, as always, remember, follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, Sports Stuff W/Jim Abersan Muff, and the same thing on the YouTubes.
The Action app.
Action app. Oh, that is better.
About that time again.
Action app. You can follow me at CMcPherson20.
Shit, I forgot my name already. Follow me at Alex Frank. I think it really is like Alex Frank something, right? Hold on, stalling while I look up
our Action app. It's your Action app. You should know this.
No, I changed it. I forgot. My name on Action app is Alex Frank. If you search it, you'll find it. But it is The Real Medical Degenerate. And I would like to say my goal at the end of the sports stuff betting stuff season was to be verified on the Action app, of which I now am. So killing goals early, crushing goals early.
Goals early. What status did you come in at?
I think I was silver.
Silver, nice.
So I started off getting verified. Like if you look at my little curve here, I started off real bad, and I was like, "This is gonna be embarrassing." And I hit a streak and was well above 500 for a good while. I mean, the last 30 days, I'm 18-10. So
it's good. It's good.
And that's not because FanDuel keeps suspending my account.
Oh, goodness. Well, stop making bets out of state. You're being like Calvin Ridley at this point.
I formed a strongly worded email to Serge from FanDuel today, and he seems to be taking up my case promptly. So
let's get into it, guys. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right. Starting off with the NFL offseason, I have a major announcement for the world.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL has officially beaten COVID. COVID is dead.
Yeah. Yep. Congratulations, NFL.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Alert the media, Dr. Fauci, the CDC, and any other three-letter organizations that have anything to do with healthcare. Alex, just start naming them.
The wait, what's the National Health Service Administration, the WHO, all of them. Wait, it's not NHL. What the fuck is it? Not NHL. Not
Whoa!
Strike
Throw
one.
that
Strike
bomb.
one.
what I
Strike
do? Oh, I did it, didn't I?
Strike one.
Yeah.
I was gonna have my parents listen to this episode. I keep thinking like, oh, my parents listen to this episode, and I'm messing up super early.
Way to go.
What is that? Keep going. I'm gonna think of it.
Okay. Other news in the NFL for the offseason. The NFL is informed its 32 teams.
Wait, can we back up a second? I'm sorry.
What, the NFL beat COVID?
Wait, what's explain to the listeners? They've decided they're going to do away with all COVID regulations.
Yeah, they beat COVID. It's done.
So, if a whole team gets sick, this is what it is. Like, have we
When is the
clarified-
whole team? When is the whole team going to get sick?
But like, if a good chunk of the team gets sick, we went through that. We lived that. Muff, don't act like that didn't happen.
I'm just saying, like, what the next time that the whole teams are going to be together is until the summer.
But like, what they've waived it forever. We're not going back.
Yeah, you can't undo the triple stamp and back it to a double stamp. Like,
Right. So like,
signed, sealed, delivered.
if a large portion of the team gets the Omi round 2,
I don't think the Omi Homie is around anymore, is it?
So is it? What is it? What letter do we go after Omi?
I don't know. I think that's how it works. So this is like hurricane season.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're like going in order.
I don't know my Greek alphabet as well.
Let's just assume. So is it Phi? Yeah, it's got to be Phi, right?
Well, there's
Anyway,
there's
Omi
other
part 2.
options.
USPSTF. That's what I was thinking of earlier. It did
All
not.
right, you're half the reason we can't stay on track. You've already missed the window.
What the postal service have to do with this, Alex?
No, USPSTF, the United States Public Health something. I don't know.
You just
That-
looked it up, and now you don't even know what it is. Anyway,
I just the
let's
letters.
let's say that round 2 of, let's say, what I was calling the Ninja Omi comes back.
So we're talking about Ninja Homie, and I'm the one off track. Just checking. Go ahead.
Alex, what variant are we on now? What's the variant of record that we have to be concerned about?
Give up.
See, this is why the NFL beat COVID.
The United States,
Nobody knows what's next.
United States Preventative Services Task Force.
Okay.
So close to post office.
If it comes back, we're just going to ignore it. Is that the plan?
Yes. No.
It's gonna be chalked up to other illness. It's
the
just not
flu?
it's not gonna be wrapped into COVID.
I really think
Okay. All right.
medically, are we going to ignore this? It depends. Is it as deadly as like the Delta variant? No, we're not going to ignore it. Is it as not deadly as other options of coronavirus? Maybe ignore it. That's where I'm at.
Okay, Muff, carry on.
Tagline: the NFL beat COVID. Just like James Harrison beat on quarterbacks. Maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, the salary cap for the 2022 season has been set.
Mhm.
$208.2 million.
It's gone up because they beat COVID.
Well, when revenue goes up, when you have people in the stands,
Mhm.
people in the seats, you can, make a little bit more. When you, reach multi-million dollar, hundreds of $1 million dollars with people like Amazon. When
So like,
when you're paying Tony Romo, I don't know. That's CBS does that, but
so does Roger Goodell like come out with the Johnny Cochran slogans? Cheeks and seats, COVID is beat. Like, is that how he's handling it?
I mean, I hope.
Well, good for him.
The fact that it gets raised is just another feather in his cap. Like, ha ha ha. Guess what I did? The owners got more money, which means the teams get to spend more money, which means I am still an indispensable asset for the owners of this league.
Well done, Raj. Well, the cap's up. It's good for them. We should see more people getting paid. Don't know who those people are, but somebody's getting paid.
You're going to see the people that get money get more money. I don't think you're going to see more people get paid. I'm not sure where to insert this. Combine?
Yeah, go ahead.
Counts.
What was that?
Do we? This counts. I mean, combine's NFL and it's off season.
Oh no, I was thinking of where to insert, other things.
Oh.
So Kenny Pickett's hand size was a big deal
It
this
was.
past week.
A
8.5
little.
inches for anybody who's interested.
I think that 8.5 inches is too big.
So Kenny Pickett came out and pretty much was just like, oh, well, looks like I can't play in the NFL anymore. My hands are too small.
I only have 8.5 inches.
And he wears gloves during games.
As you should. You should always wear gloves over your 8.5 inches.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of talk about can he play in a cold weather city?
Well, does your hand shrink in the cold?
Oh my goodness.
Does it go less than 8.5 inches in the cold?
I don't know. I'll go put my hand in the freezer for a bit and come back and show you, Chip, and see what you think.
Glad we are an all audio podcast at this point. Just in case Alex did find inspiration to get that done. But
this is why we need football back.
real question at hand.
Yeah.
Quite literally at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think something like this diminishes the draft stock of Kenny Pickett?
No.
It diminishes the combine. Is what it diminishes. This is nothing.
The fact that the biggest story out of this was Kenny Pickett's hand size.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the big things.
When I was like, what should we talk about in the combine? My first thought was Kenny Pickett's hand size, and that to me said everything I needed to know about the combine.
Amen.
We could be talking about a large human being, aka Jordan Davis.
Yes.
Who ran like a 4.8 40, I believe.
Yeah.
Unofficial or official. That's a big deal.
Anyways, how much?
341 lbs.
Crazy.
Yes. Dude was boogieing. And not only the 40, I don't know what these drills are called, but there's the one where you hop over the things to the left, like a lateral shuffle with obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And the big boy was getting it.
Yeah.
And he's the kind of person I'm like, the combine does, I think it has more of a potential to increase draft stock than decrease, because I'm not worried about Kenny Pickett's hand size if I'm thinking about drafting him as a quarterback. But after I saw Jordan Davis move like that, if he was lower on my list, he might have gotten bumped up a few.
It's fair.
341 pounds coming at me that fast. I don't want it.
Well, I mean, it's going to be tough for him to get going that fast.
That's true.
But he's not going to be running, 40 yards often. And if he is, he's going to be like Cam Hayward, and, he may come in with a wild fist from the top rope. Jim's favorite quarterback. I have to come back to it. Kenny Pickett's hand size. Got to come back to it.
Okay.
I just they used to talk about Russell Wilson like this too. I don't know. I forget what his hand size was. I don't think it was slightly larger than 8.
I don't know why you want to come back to this. Why is this your thing?
Why is this the thing that is the thing in the combine? Like, why do we waste so much time? Because there was like a lead up to this too. This was a story before it was a story. Like, people knew this was going to be a thing.
Sorry, I had to go get a ruler just because I'm curious.
I don't know where the measurements start and ends, Alex.
Hold on, close your eyes, Muffin Jim. I got to measure something. Okay. I bet.
I can't believe we're doing this.
This is great radio.
We are watching him measure his hands with a protractor.
It looks like a clear ruler.
I'm sorry. Would you like me to stall the podcast longer while I found my actual ruler? But I'm at a solid like 7.5, 7 3/4 inches. And now here we go. Jim breaks out the measurement app to measure his hand. I mean, it's obviously bigger than mine. I'm a little feller. I got it.
What did you measure yours for?
Like 7 3/4.
But where did you like?
Oh, from like thumb to pinky.
From inside thumb to inside pinky?
Like, yeah, from the tip of the thumb to the tip of the pinky is what I did.
No, this is, I don't know if that was it.
I'm pretty sure that's it, Muff.
Yeah, but I think it was like hand size, not finger to finger.
So what do you measure then?
I think
Muff?
it's like
there's no way.
I think it's the palm.
It's
the palm? You're high. My palm is like 3.5
you're
inches.
wrong.
My palm is like 3.5 inches. It's not like Kenny Pickett's hand. His palm is bigger than my thumb to pinky.
All right, listeners, if you're want to chime in, please hit us up in the DMs.
Hit us up with your hand size.
Okay, this is a big deal because apparently the NFL football is larger than the college one.
See, I've
Okay.
heard what it comes down to is not necessarily your grip on the football, but when you come through, like if your hand gets hit, like how stable it is on the ball.
Right.
I'm
Taste
gonna
it.
go with Alex's verdict that it's thumb to tip of your pinky.
Okay.
And it's mine is 8 inches.
Base
Alex,
to
yours
tip.
is what?
Base to tip.
Yep, base to tip. Yours is
Mine's
what?
like 7 3/4.
Okay.
What is this measurement app that you all have? What am I doing? I don't know.
Well, you're an Android user,
Well,
so you probably
I
don't
have a
have
ruler.
it.
You know, I had a
Ruler.
protractor.
I don't
Yeah.
have anything like that sitting here.
That's okay. We'll just assume yours is like 6 inches at best.
Everybody, get at us and what do you think my hand size is? Right now, the record of hand size in the
Mhm.
NFL, of smallest hand size, is Taysom Hill, 8 3/4 inches.
Huh.
So this would be the
I mean,
smallest
8
hand.
inches, Muff. Mine is 3 the way you want to measure it.
This is Andre the Giant stuff here. Just saying.
So 8 is like double my hand. That's not the right way to measure it. You're wrong.
It's like almost triple your hand.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna measure how I want to measure.
Okay. Well,
All right. Anyway,
coming up short your way. You should probably learn how to measure something so it comes off bigger.
by the numbers, but real life. 40-yard dash. There were some records broken.
Mm-hmm.
And then the NFL said, no. These unofficial times are apparently 0.2 of a second off. So
Okay.
Chris, was it Olave? What's his first name, Jim?
You did it, Chris Olave.
Chris Olave and a Baylor wide receiver, I think. Both ran what were apparently, record 40-yard dash times in prime time over the weekend or Thursday night, whatever the heck it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call BS on this and say these are all ratings grabs. Let's tune into the combine because they're breaking records over here. And then 2 hours later, it's like, this official time is maybe your top 5 to 10 now. I think it was all about the headline and to get people over there to watch it. So all I'm going to say about the combine from this point forward. Now, I do think a Baylor defensive back today, Monday, ran like the second fastest ever officially.
So according to what I just read while we were measuring our hands, Baylor cornerback Kalen Barnes and Texas San Antonio cornerback Tariq Woolen ran 2 of the fastest 40-yard dash times in combine history, clocking in at 4.23.
Yes, I think it's the second fastest, but these are DBs. I mean, yeah, people care about the speed of a DB, but usually people get more excited about the speed of a wide receiver, which was
John Ross, the wide receiver in 2017, did it in 4.22.
Right.
And those are official times.
Right.
So that's enough of the combine. We all think it's a joke. That's the stance of this show.
Hold on. I have one statement left to make.
You have more combine news?
It has to do with hands again.
Okay.
I just
You
want
are sticking us to subjects here.
I just want you guys' guess. What do you think, without looking it up, the biggest hand size is?
In the
Gotta
NFL?
be Andre the Giants.
In the NFL?
Yes, the biggest one of all time.
Is it in what era?
Any NFL quarterback. I don't know what year it was, because I've never heard of this guy. But just like a size-wise, what do you think it would be?
You haven't even heard of him?
No.
I'm going to go with 10 inches.
I'm going to go with 11 1/4.
Muff, did you look it up?
No, I have no idea who this is.
It's 11 1/4. 11.25 inches. Jim Druckenmiller. He is from the Carson Palmer and Drew Bledsoe stand at the same height as Druckenmiller, but their hand spans are only 9.5 inches and 9.63 inches, respectively. So someone of the same height has 11.25. That's a pretty big hand. I just wanted to know what the biggest one was. Dak Prescott comes in second with 10.88 inches.
All right.
All right, we're done with hands.
Yeah, no kidding. Muff, let's get to Calvin. Calvin, who I think hung out with Muffnack a little too much.
Trying to measure my hand now.
Oh my god.
Too much muff knacking.
The podcast is about
Calvin Ridley was suspended indefinitely through the end of the 2022 season at the very least for betting on football during the 2021 season. He indicates that he bet about $1,500 total in his tweet. I will say Calvin Ridley was opted out of most of the 2021 season for mental health issues. I think we should add that as a caveat.
okay.
He couldn't play the game.
Regardless of whether he had mental health issues.
Oh, that part I'm not focusing on. I'm saying that he wasn't actively playing.
Why are we suspending him for a year?
Okay. I think I know where Jim's going with this. I first want to call to mind all of the losses that Calvin Ridley had this year.
Okay.
He's demanding a trade after sitting out an entire season.
Yep.
He gets caught betting on the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He gets caught betting using his personal phone to make those bets. Okay. Alex, he fell into the trap of betting on parlays, aka what you two do whenever you want to get super crazy in the betting show.
Okay.
And he was betting on the Falcons to win games.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Because he had insider scoop on the Falcons thing. But see, I'm pro and con. I'm saying con because he wasn't actively playing. It's not like he could, if he knew that, hey, we need one more touchdown to cover, I'll smack this one out of the air and drop it. He can't do that. But could he buy out some of his friends to be like, hey, but if you're only betting $1,500 total, it's not worth it.
Total.
Well, it was $1,500, I think, over like a few bets.
Ray Rice.
I mean, either way, it was $1,500.
Ray Rice, 2 games, domestic violence. Greg Hardy, 4 games, domestic violence.
Yes,
Kareem Hunt, 8 games. Calvin Ridley, 17 games for betting $1,500.
I do agree with Jim on this one.
Oh, I don't disagree with Jim. Are we trying to put
let's
me
not
as the
even
bad
get
guy
me
here?
started.
Yes.
Let's not even get me started as the
Someone has to be. It's you.
Super Bowl conspiracy that I have.
So who gets in trouble for that?
Who gets in trouble for the NFL or the Dolphins owner coming to the coach saying, you should probably throw the game?
Where's that have to do with the Super Bowl?
Remember, I thought the Super Bowl was rigged so that we could get a better market share in LA.
Whose problem with that?
I'm saying, why are we coming down on this guy when we know the NFL probably taints some of these games?
No. Oh, wait. What did you just say? Who says we know this?
This is where I draw the line.
That's my feeling. I'm saying it's my feeling.
You said we know. I feel like you say Jim believes.
Jim believes. I'll take
okay.
it back.
Thank you. Jim believes.
The stance of the show, I don't think, is that the NFL
I'm saying that
rigged.
this should not be 17 games worthy. You want to hit him with 2 or 4 to prove a point? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Pete Rose.
Which was still ridiculous. Lifetime ban.
Pete Rose.
Lifetime.
Don't forget who owns all of the NFL teams.
I don't think you want to get my answer to that.
People that agree with Pete Rose being banned for life.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut and move on past it.
Here's my thing. If all of these guys that Jim, the aforementioned players that Jim mentioned, were suspended indefinitely or kicked out of the league, and then he was suspended for a year, I would feel differently. But I didn't even think of it how Jim put it. Like, these guys that have done things that are a lot more detrimental to other people around them have gotten suspended for a little significantly less. That's a tough one for me.
And we still don't even know the verdict on Deshaun Watson. We still can't figure out where he stands. We came out real quick on a betting thing for $1,500. Oh, he's done. Ice cold, gone.
And he makes how much in a season? So it's not like he was betting millions and millions and millions and winning on something that could be fixed.
We still have not heard one single NFL ruling on Deshaun Watson.
The NFL is not making a ruling because the court cases aren't taken care of.
We have not. This guy has not even got a fair shake. We suspended him for a full year. To Alex's point, he has mental instability. He's taking a break because of his mental instability. Who's to say this guy didn't just be like, you know what? I'm having a moment. I'm just gonna like slip and snap for a second and bet on some games.
Who's to say he didn't do it 3 times in one game, one weekend? Did he have one parlay? He had like 4 teams at 250 each, and then 500 on the whole parlay to hit.
Like we call gambling a sickness. There's hotlines for it.
There are
Like, but we're gonna suspend him for a full year.
I think he was dumb to do it, and I think if I'd have given him 5 or 6 games. But I'm also not happy with the fact that some of those other guys only got 1 or 2. But I'm saying 5 or 6 games to be like, hey, slap on the wrist, don't do that again. But a whole season when the standard has been, it's okay to beat women 3 or 4 games. You bet $1,500 though, you're out for a season. Play devil's advocate, Muff. I see it in your face.
I don't know if the NFL has said it's okay.
When you only get 4 games, they are saying it's okay.
I don't think they're saying it's okay. Remember, I'm just going to say this is an understanding of the sanctions that are put in place for members of the NFL who violate certain policies have been agreed upon between the NFL and the NFL Players Association.
And I've been waiting for like 3 of my arguments, like 3 minutes ago, for you to pull that line out. I agree. You're correct. He agreed to the rules. He played by the rules and all of that. But isn't this a moment for Roger Goodell to be like, listen, Calvin Ridley's been going through some stuff. He messed up. We're going to look at this case. We're going to address this case. Gambling is a sickness. We're going to address it.
Well. I mean, yes, I don't sit here and disagree with it should be relooked at. Calvin Ridley has come out and said, I don't have a gambling problem.
Sure.
I only bet $1,500, people. So the NFL cannot then go backwards and make the statement.
Sure it can. Gambling is a sickness. They can make that statement all they want.
But not about him.
They can say it's a sickness. And we're going to look at this case before we come out and make a giant nuclear bomb sanction. We're going to interview him. We're going to do our due diligence. We're going to see what was going on before we drop 17 games. They put more time and effort into all these domestic violence cases and letting the process and interviewing the victims and interviewing everything else. And they dropped 17 games on Calvin.
What is there to interview here?
Why did you do it? What was your thought process? Who was involved? What teams did you bet on?
He's already admitted that he did it. I don't know why you have to understand all the ins and outs if it happened.
But okay, so he admits he did it. So we all know that, okay, we'll use Kareem Hunt. We all know Kareem Hunt did bad things to another human being.
There was videos of Ray Rice doing it, and we still had interviews.
I think that maybe we move on to the next topic. I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
I'm saying let's take some time before we have this giant reaction.
I'm saying that I think there's been time happening and the investigations been going on behind the scenes.
Like we don't see it.
Right. I think there's been the due diligence.
It's just weird that no one. I agree that that's a potential. It's just weird that no one leaked it. I guess. Okay, I'll play Muff side for a little bit. Maybe they knew about it, but it's such a lower deal than the other things that it wasn't leaked. Because my thought was going to be, yeah, it's been going on this long and they haven't leaked it. But maybe because it's less severe, no one thought, you know what, we should tell everyone that Calvin Ridley spent $1,500 on FanDuel. I don't know that was FanDuel.
I don't know that I can argue that point.
I'm trying to play both sides.
What better time with all the other NFL news to just get this out of the way and grip it and rip it and see how it either adds or detracts from the giant PR mess they already had.
Moving on to them Cowboys.
They're interesting.
I didn't put any of this in here, so somebody else
did.
I put the last part of it in here.
I put this in here, and I think we should talk about it. Amari Cooper. No more.
And his $20 million cap hit.
Yes.
That's the big key here.
Okay, yes, you're right. Do we think Amari Cooper was worth keeping? I think that's where we have to ask the question.
I don't know. Maybe.
I
Well-
agree. Actually, I was like, this is one of the few times I'm like, probably worth it.
I mean, we know why the cap is a big deal for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who else do they
of-
have?
Because of their running back. He's the cap hit.
Yeah.
Yes, I get that. But who else do they have at wide out other than
Well, they're looking to resign Michael Gallup.
okay, but I don't think Michael Gallup's as good as Amari Cooper.
I think they're looking to Dalton Schultz, maybe bring Dalton Schultz back at the tight end position. And from there, they were probably up somebody that was interested in Calvin Ridley because he wanted out of Atlanta. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? That ain't gonna happen now.
How about them boys? No, you're right. Amari Cooper's cut. DeMarcus Lawrence, they asked him to take a pay cut for 2022. And he said, no, thank you. And
Because we can't ask Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott to do this. We have to ask the
No.
defensive player.
Exactly. Defense wins championships. Cowboys defense wins championships. Michael Gallup is looking to be re-signed by the team. What do we think about the Cowboys?
Gallup at 12 million versus Cooper at 20 million.
I take
I think that's a good value for them. That's what I'm getting at there. Where can you spend that $8 million to get somebody else?
Guess someone on defense because you're letting DeMarcus Lawrence out the door.
Probably.
Why don't you give DeMarcus Lawrence what he's asking for then if you get rid of
DeMarcus Lawrence, they're asking him to take a pay cut. So I think they're looking for him to restructure his deal. And he's saying, nope, sorry, not going to do it.
but I wonder how much I should have done more back legwork on this, I will admit, to see like the actual numbers involved. But I wonder if DeMarcus Lawrence, how much are they asking him to take a pay cut? Are they asking him to take a $5 million pay cut and then you cut Amari Cooper? So I'm like, why don't you let him keep the $5 million? You're still at a $3 million bonus. But I'm also thinking in the mindset of someone who lives in like the Northern Panhandle of West Virginia and works a normal job, not millions of dollars from the NFL teams.
They're asking DeMarcus Lawrence to do what you see from players that make lots and lots of money, like the quarterbacks of the league. Tom Brady. Think about Tom Brady. How many years did he rework his deal in New England? It's the kick the can down the road, and you don't have to deal with it until you have to deal with it. Which is why the Patriots 2 years ago had a huge problem because everything came to rue all at once. But we'll see. Cowboys, Jim. What do you think about the Cowboys?
I'm just looking up their draft picks. They got a pick every round. They got 2 in the 5th round. I think they'll be okay if they cut some players, make some space. You know, they've made a lot of big profile signings. They got to make room. I understand it. I don't know that it's going to hurt them to get rid of Amari Cooper. From what
I would
I
have
can
tried
see.
to. I would have tried to like. I don't know how this works, and I lose track of a lot of things. But I would have tried to trade them or something for like good picks. You know,
Somebody's got to be willing to take him
that's true.
and take that 20 million hit.
That's true. You're right.
Okay, good.
A little
good.
bit. This is a little bit of franchise tag news that I added in here. The Chiefs did not give it to Tyrann Mathieu, and he's now not expected to sign a new deal. Who needs a good safety in the league? I think there's a lot of teams. I just didn't know if you guys had anyone off your mind. The other big franchise tag news to add here is the Browns. They were technically the first team to give someone a franchise tag, and it was David Njoku. Tight end.
And the Bengals franchise tagged their safety.
Did they?
I think it's like 13.5 or something a year, I think. I forget who it is. And I think an offensive lineman somewhere in the league got tagged.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
It was Orlando
Brown.
Yes, Orlando Brown. I would say I keep wanting to, honestly, in my mind, I could see Orlando B, and it kept wanting to be Orlando Bloom. Not gonna lie, and I knew that was not correct. But yes, he's who they signed. They thought they might give it to Tyrann Mathieu, I think was the thought here. And it would.
And they opted to, protect their $500 million investment,
which I can't knock them for. I just think it's interesting where Tyrann Mathieu lands, if not with the Chiefs.
Bengals and other Bengals news. Jim, I'm interested in your take. uh, Evan McPherson is still getting some heat about watching the halftime show on the field in the Super Bowl.
So apparently, sorry, go ahead, Jim. This was directed at you.
I'm waiting to hear yours. Go ahead. I didn't know what the heat is.
Apparently, a lot of players have done this where they there were more than just him, but he was the most upfront about what he was doing. So there were other Bengals players at the time watching the halftime show that were like not really crucial to the game plan. But he made it very, very clear that he was watching the halftime show. So that was where the debate came in, I guess.
I have no problem with him doing that. He is the kicker and a damn good kicker.
And he did nothing wrong. If he would have gone in and missed like 3 field goals or something, then I have a problem.
What exactly did they want him to do in the locker room? Okay, Evan.
Be with your team. I get that.
Kick the ball.
I guess, I mean, he doesn't really go in at all during halftime throughout the whole year. So there's nothing new here. And, you know, I have a feeling you can do these types of things when you know you're perfect in the postseason at your job. If your job is to kick field goals and you haven't missed one, why is this a story?
I think he made it. My only devil's advocate point is I do think he like made a scene of it by going and like sitting on the bench. Like I think he could have, if he just wanted to watch it, walked calmly like to a more discreet area and watched.
How are you gonna not be out there listening to Dr. Dre?
I'm not saying that I
Snoop.
knock him for the act of listening. I'm saying that I think there was a little bit of attention seeking in his
No, get out of here. Get.
bench. He was the only one on the bench. So if there's other teammates standing over there kind of in the tunnel watching calmly, and you're like,
He goes to the field to be where he usually is. There's people on the field where he's usually kicking the ball. He just did his normal routine, except Snoop standing at the 50 this time. Get off his back.
he was doing his normal routine, and then Snoop Dogg appeared.
Right? Leave him be.
Happens to the best of us.
That's the NFL. Let's get to quick thoughts. Muff, give us a break here. This is quick thoughts. All right.
This is quick thoughts, and we will start with we have one NFL topic to cover. We'll do it at the beginning. Keep rolling with our NFL topics. Mike Tannenbaum, he calls Aaron Rodgers selfish and states that he's known what he's going to do for a while. Do you
Who's
agree
Mike
with that?
Tannenbaum?
He's on Get Up,
Okay, well, that
ESPN.
explains a lot for me. Who's
Okay.
starting this?
Muff.
If it comes out that Aaron Rodgers has known what he's gonna do, does that make him selfish or does this make him a good business person? I don't know. I think there's going to be more that comes out. The biggest timeline is Tuesday because that's the franchise tag time for Devontae Adams. So Aaron Rodgers all along has said he's going to allow time for that to play itself out. I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams have been in conversations and things are going to work themselves out the way they want them to. Information has come out that there's going to be some type of, I don't think the word record contract has been thrown out, but a market altering contract with Aaron Rodgers, potentially with the Green Bay Packers. So what does that mean? I don't know, but TBD. I don't think at this point that I'm willing to get on the side of Aaron Rodgers as selfish.
Jim?
First off, Mike Tannenbaum, I don't like you already. You're on the show with Greenberg. I don't like you. Is Aaron Rodgers selfish? Period. Yeah, I believe Aaron Rodgers is selfish. Is he selfish for what's going on currently? No, that's just called business. I think Aaron Rodgers makes a lot of what he does about himself. I don't think that I think he's very self-interested. And I understand that part of that, like I said, is business. Part of that is he's kind of a distraction. And I don't think he understands that all of the time. I think he needs to stop that for the betterment of whatever team he goes to. I don't care if he knows or not what he's going to do. Let him live. But when it comes to is the term Aaron Rodgers being selfish true or not? Yeah, I think so.
Muff, any rebuttal?
Is your rebuttal on this?
We'll move on to
Jim's mind is not going to be changed.
This league, aka professional basketball, aka the NBA. Well, we'll start in the NBA. How about that?
Okay.
Kyrie Irving plays in Boston last night at the TD Garden. Boston fans start a Kyrie sucks chant, and he compares Boston fans to a scorned girlfriend. If you listen to his interview, he basically says a girlfriend who wants to know why you left and sits around waiting on that text. Do y'all have any thoughts on, is Boston a scorned girlfriend? Or is Kyrie just Kyrie? Jim?
He ain't wrong. He's not wrong at all.
Okay. Muff?
Boston is being Boston. It's like Philadelphia. It's like high class Philadelphia in my mind. That's what Boston is. So whether you want to feel any sort of way about that, Philly fans, there you go.
Philly 76er fans are rough.
Well, they got old James. More to come on that topic later in the Dub Intern segment. But yeah, I mean, he's got something to say there. I'm not gonna say he's wrong.
Okay. All right.
Wait,
Moving
I would
on.
like a rebuttal, please.
Okay, rebuttal. I didn't think you would have one because basketball wasn't even asked. But Jim has a rebuttal for basketball. Everyone tune in.
I don't believe that Boston and Philly are comparable. I believe that Boston has that scorned woe is us feeling. And I feel like Philly gets over it a little bit faster than Boston does. I think Boston hangs on to things a lot. I don't think Philly does at all.
Okay.
Boston actually has championships sitting in their rafters. Philly, not necessarily.
Nobody said, I'm not disagreeing with that fact, but I'm saying they don't.
I'm saying it's easier to get over it whenever you're not winning. You just get mad and then you move on.
Okay. If you have to award Muff a point, that was a good rebuttal right there.
Okay. Let's keep it in the NBA, but we'll talk about Jokic. First of all, I love the guy. I feel like I bring him up every episode.
You are a fanboy.
I am fanboying over this guy. Let me tell you. So he scores 30 points in the fourth quarter in overtime. He's the first player to record 40 points as part of a triple-double. Stat line here for you. 46 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, and 4 blocks. He's the first person with 40 points in a triple-double since LeBron James did it in 2010. Do either of you have thoughts on Jokic, or was this just a chance for me to add a stat line in for him? Muff?
The reigning NBA MVP, Nikola Jokic, should be a bigger deal in the NBA, but he is not because he plays in Denver. He's not LeBron James, and he's not Steph Curry.
Thank you. Muff, sorry, Jim, I'm giving a public live point. That is my point to bringing him up every freaking week. I don't even like the NBA, but I like this guy. Jim?
I agree with Muff.
Thank you.
Muff.
Does Jim get a half a point?
Jim gets a half point for agreeing.
You're welcome.
But this league, I'm this guy. I have a man crush on him, not going to lie.
All right, that's fair.
Moving on in the professional basketball world, but we will move on to the women's side. WNBA star Brittany Griner in Russian custody after being detained for having vapes that contained hashish oil. If found guilty, could face 5 to 10 years in prison. Jim?
So, Bernard, he sent me my update. And I just want to be clear that Americans were advised not to travel there. It appears she ignored the travel alert. Okay. And because of all this, we've had to re-up the travel alert and say, listen, Russia is going to mess with you. And she had hashish oil.
Is it hashish?
Yeah, buddy.
Sorry.
Eh.
I'm a drug user, so
It's okay.
Strike that from the record. Reverse that.
hashish, it's all the same.
I don't understand why any of this occurred, and I hope we get her out of there for her sake. But this was bad logic.
Yeah, all bad in every way possible. These were found was found in luggage as she was about to leave the country. She was then detained and is waiting. At this point, I think the spokespeople have come out and said the full force of the NBA and WNBA is behind this, trying to figure it out.
Get her out of the gulags.
Get Brittany out. If she's detained, I don't know if they've said like she's in prison or.
Didn't we just get over the hashtag Free Britney?
We got a new one.
Hashtag Free Britney 2.0.
Now, to be fair, I'm not gonna sit here and say, that she had it. It may have been planted on her, but she had no business being there to begin with.
I also feel like Muff was very disappointed at how I downplayed this situation by saying Free Britney. Sorry. Minus point for me.
Minus point. Okay. What do we need to do, Alex?
Moving on to golf. Muff's faves. Golf. Bryson DeChambeau withdraws from the Players' Championship after missing Arnold Palmer Invitational. He says he's at 90%, but doesn't want to hurt himself again and not be able to be 100% ready for a comeback sometime this season. Muff, what's your thoughts?
Okay, first off, I need to rewind for a second.
Okay, sorry.
Brittany Griner is in Russia playing basketball.
Yes.
Because
immediately leave.
Because she can earn more money there than in the WNBA. Don't care.
And I can also earn a spot in jail. That doesn't get out of here, Muff.
The gulags.
Anyway, Bryson, yeah, he's whatever. This is a non-story for me right now. This is not abnormal for high-profile players to not be playing in all of the events at the beginning of the year. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Many players gear up the beginning of their season to prepare for the Masters. Tiger Woods was one of the first players to do this. I'm only going to play the select events that I want to, and then I am going to play in the first major, and I'm going to build the rest of my season on major championships. Bryson DeChambeau, as we all know, has been on a pretty rigorous schedule for the past 3 to 4 years, and I think he's finally starting to understand, I don't have to play all the time. It's okay for me to take weeks off. And I think this is just him catching up to that reality.
Jim, thoughts?
I don't have a thought. I have a question for Muff, as I do with most golf situations. Muff, where are we at in terms of the season that is golf? And do you feel like it is hitting as much notoriety as it did last year? Because I feel like golf is not hitting its stride. Or am I just off in the time of season?
I think you're off in the time of season. So these next months. So Father's Day, that's the Open. The Masters, which is second weekend in April, is whatever people fully say that the season has started, because that's when people actually start to pay attention to golf. You've also got to remember football, the NFL, actually had fans in the stands. It was a big deal. The normal calendar year in baseball's hogging some headlines right now too. And Tiger Woods isn't playing. So people aren't saying, oh my God, when's Tiger coming back?
But Tiger wasn't playing last year.
Tiger wasn't playing most of the year last year, right?
I have to gong you guys. I feel like we've been talking about golf. I let you go for a little bit.
We're gonna ignore your. We're now, as owners of the show, gonna put you on the mute button because I want to hear Muff's answer.
Is this? I don't know if I should say that's not allowed.
Take a point. I mute you, Muff. I want your answer.
I don't know if I want to answer if I'm going to lose points.
No,
Jim's going to lose points. Jim lost points.
Okay.
You just put baby in the corner.
I think this is normal. When's the last time you remember hearing people talk about who's playing in the Arnold Palmer Invitational?
Well, the Arnold was a big deal. Forgive me, my radio is busted in my car right now. I gotta get it fixed. But the Arnold was a big deal in Columbus.
It's the Memorial. That's Jack's tournament.
Got it. Then that's why I'm screwing up. And
Yep.
that's why I need clarification.
All people, I mean, not to say all the casual golf fan really remembers at the beginning of the season is the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Yeah,
because of hole 16.
I think COVID messed me up, and that came later.
Yeah, there were some changes in the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what messed me up with golf.
Yeah, we're getting back to a normal golf schedule now.
Got it. Thank you, Muff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to do my job again, or?
Yeah, come out.
Okay, gong. Moving on. I even let you go an extended time before that because we don't talk about golf. Moving on to the MLB. Baseball. We only have one topic today.
Gong.
First of all, you can't gong me. I can gong you. It doesn't always work, but I try. MLB, are we banning the shift? Jim?
I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Okay, Muff.
Okay. So there apparently have been discussions and tentative agreements about the MLB, Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, biggest clown of all of them, I think, about banning the shift, which means, Jim, that you cannot realign players on the field in order to overload a side of second base. This is most notoriously done for left-handed power hitters, so that whenever they don't hit a home run or a fly ball that can be caught, they turn over on the ball and hit a ground ball to anybody on the right side of the infield, left side, depending on how you're playing this, and it's pretty much an automatic out. They're banning this, and the justification, which I don't understand this, discussion is this will help speed up play because players are looking to hit the ball instead of looking to hit a home run. So we'll cut down on strikeouts, which Baseball Gurus Hugh said is a reason the game goes on so long, because it takes more pitches to strike somebody out than to get a ground ball or to have them hit the ball to contact. Also with this, there's apparently discussion on creating larger bases, which have a few impacts to the game. One is that it cuts slightly down on the distance between bags, which baseball logic is there will be more people that are safe at first base. There will be more thoughts to steal bases because of how close those stolen bases people are called out on, which creates more action, which creates more, I don't know, buzz about the game. And it also helps protect, especially at second base, when fielders are trying to tap the bag and turn a double play. Also with this, potentially a pitch clock, which again is supposed to speed up the game and make people more interested in watching the game. Jim, as somebody who's super interested in baseball, is any of this going to make you think about it differently?
Nope.
Okay. And that's all I got to say.
I would just like to say that it is March 7th. And my pap, I will say, is a big baseball fan. He would go to Pirates spring training, the whole nine. And today he looked at me at dinner and said, guess we should just cancel baseball season. Yeah. Like, as though because by March 7th, we haven't started playing anything, we should cancel. My dad literally looked at me and goes, maybe people would be more interested if there's only like 50 games to watch. But that's baseball talk. I agree with Muff, though, kind of. I don't, with the reasoning, obviously. I don't know about banning the shift. It seems weird. It seems like that's a part of the strategy of the game.
It's strategy, and left-handed power hitters are not going to turn into hit-to-contact hitters overnight. This is going to be a generational shift if this happens. Quite literally.
I think the strike zone is too big, and I don't hate the idea of a pitch clock. NCAA basketball, though. Another one is basketball. Coach K and Duke get upset in Coach K's final game in front of the Cameron Crazies. Any thoughts, Muff?
I mean, I'll start with this. This is the culmination of what happened last year when Coach K's departure tour is, this isn't about me, this is about the team, but I'm gonna make this about me. Every time we touch was played over a loudspeaker in Cameron Indoor Stadium to announce Coach K's farewell tour. And we were all awkward about it from the start. And it is not about Coach K. but every team apparently this year, aside from North Carolina, did some type of special recognition for Coach K when he was there for the last time, except for North Carolina.
Yep. This was another thought I was going to bring up. What do you feel about that?
It's perfect. It's exactly as it should be.
It is.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
And then North Carolina goes in and beats the brakes off of Duke in Coach K's final home game. Not only did they have to address the fact that it was Coach K's final home game on senior night, whenever they should be recognized as seniors, he then had to come out after a loss and address the crowd and apologize for his team's terrible performance, just adding insult to injury to that team and further just aligning my hate for Coach K with everything in my being.
Now, I will say, is this Muff the actual non-biased basketball fan giving his quick thoughts on the topic, or is this Muff the UNC fan giving his quick thoughts on the topic? Little bit.
When's the last time you saw a farewell tour for a college coach?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Just my opinion. I think that Coach K and his tour, like, I'm glad this went down this way. Good stuff.
Any other thoughts, Jim?
No.
Okay. Moving on. NCAA football. Jim, I said football. You ready?
Yes, I'm pumped.
He's way more excited now. We got past the basketball. We got past the baseball. Jim is back in. We are at football. Herb Street to join Amazon's NFL Thursday night coverage.
This does not sound like college football.
Well, it is. So the controversy here is, like, first off, Amazon's upset because Troy Aikman shunned them. Herb Street is not their first choice. I don't even think he's the second choice. Listening to Herb Street call an NFL game is very weird for me. Kudos to him. He's still going to do the ESPN calling those games.
Yeah.
Apparently, him and Amazon have a relationship. It's cool. I think we had this conversation about who would you get. I wouldn't think of Herb Street, but it's a nice fill-in. He does a nice job. I don't detest him. So, good for them. It doesn't make me want to listen to the games more. I will say that.
Okay. Muff?
Herbie's doing Herbie things, making that money, do what he's got to do. He's still going to be doing everything else in the college game, right?
Yeah.
This is just more work for Herbie, and he gets more money. Good for you, buddy.
I don't know how he has a work-life balance. That's one thing. He's
well, this really puts it into question. Like,
yeah.
Always grinding, that guy.
We have a proposed rule change.
Yeah.
A proposed rule change that would allow conferences to appeal targeting fouls that were called in the second half of games in order to avoid the carryover penalty of sitting out the first half of the next game. The NCAA Football Rules Committee announced this on Friday. If a team believes that a targeting call was erroneous, its conference would be allowed to submit a request to Steve Shaw, who is the NCAA's National Coordinator of Officials, for review. If it's obvious that the player was incorrectly penalized, the call would be overturned and the player would be cleared for the first half of the next game. Thoughts on that, Muff?
I mean, this makes sense to at least be able to take a look after the fact and get more than just one particular person's opinion. Especially if we're being honest, I mean, this all comes down to money in my mind. If you're going to have high profile players that have to sit out the first half of a game after sitting out another half, then it behooves the NCAA to be able to review this. So a high profile linebacker, cornerback, or anybody on the defensive side of the ball doesn't have to miss more time than they have to.
Jim?
This is stupid.
Oh.
This is dumb. Why even do the review? Like, what official is going to say, yeah, this was dumb, this was a bad call, and counter another official? Just get rid of suspending him for the next half. If you don't like it, just get rid of it. Throw them out for the game, for the rest of the game they're in, and leave it be. Like, don't do the whole review thing. It was called on the field, and let it be.
I like if you're wrong thought, though, because what's to say I'm not pissed off and with 2 minutes left in the game, I decide it doesn't matter. I'll go out for the last 2 minutes of this game, and you just rip someone's head off.
Then you're
And what do you
suspended
do?
for the next half. Oh, you mean if they change the rules? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you change your rules, so you're saying don't suspend it for the next half of the next game, the first half
Yeah.
of the game. There's 4 minutes left in the game, and we're down 3 touchdowns, and I'm pissed off. I might just rip your head off because
I agree,
I'll.
and I think you put something in place for that. Sure, you put something that's
Yeah,
egregious, like
I'm sorry. Are we going to
What's
bring
it?
up intent?
Intent? Is intent a thing here?
yeah.
Oh, intent. Are we gonna judge intent?
I mean, if it looks like you tried to kill someone, yeah.
You're on the football field.
I think that wraps up quick thoughts.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I have to wrap up quick thoughts there.
Yeah.
I like how now Jim agrees. I did not keep strict points. I think you guys both had a lot of good points, mainly because a lot of them aligned with what I was thinking, and that's really how you get points or don't get points. Muff wins because Jim cut me off from gonging, which was my one rule. And I really rarely, honestly, the bad part is that I rarely activate my one privilege is to gong you off. And I very rarely do it. And I did it. And the funny part for me is, I just have to go on this diatribe here. It was about golf. So like I could see if I like gonged off something about like Ohio State and it would be
I'm not gonna lie, like when we first started this podcast, I loved giving Muff shit about golf. But Muff has some interesting takes on golf and some interesting insight, and maybe the listeners hate it, and that's fine. But that's one thing where I'm like, I want to know what Muff thinks because he has some great insight about the actual business and the viewing nature of golf.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't really care about what club to hit what with. What I want to know is like, Muff, what's the deal with the way it's being viewed? That's what I care about.
That's fair. I'm not gonna hold it against you, but I'm gonna let you know that you lost this one.
I appreciate it.
Okay. That's my quick thoughts.
Dumb intern tasks.
I
It
actually
is.
like that intro. That's a good intro.
I liked
Muff.
it. That was good.
Very simple, to the point. This is week number 2 of dumb intern tasks, and I have to, for a second, track backwards. The NFL offseason, we had stated was going to have a new name,
Mm-hmm.
and we did not call it that.
Well, it's just not
So
ready yet.
it's 184 days until NFL football returns.
All right.
Okay.
Just so
That
we
was
know.
true.
Just so we know, 184 days on the Monday we're recording, so 183 days probably when this comes out. So dumb intern tasks. This is week number 2, new segment. We assign tasks to our interns. We all have one from the week that was or will be in sports. And this is the first time we get to hear back from our interns after their assignment from last week.
It is. I feel like this is a big, like, a big day.
This is a momentous occasion in the sports stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise.
Very
Agreed.
momentous. Very momentous.
So without further ado, as a reminder, my intern, Muff's intern, is Kev.
Okay.
Jim, your intern's name is?
Bernard.
Alex, your intern's name is?
Mac.
So we're going to start out with Kev this week. Kev, as a reminder, everybody, is a 20-something jokester, willing to do whatever as long as he can channel Muffnack for his picks here and there.
Okay.
Kev's task last week, very much related to this league NBA situation, was to travel to Philadelphia, the city that I've already expressed some displeasure with, and find all of the establishments of the night, the gentlemen's clubs, the strip clubs, if you will, that James Harden visits or will visit, and report back to the group his thoughts on these establishments and where maybe he would point us to if we were ever in the city of brotherly love. Kev, you there? Kev's on the phone this week. Yo, I'm back from Philly, man. What a trip. Whew. There is a lot to think about in the city of brotherly love, folks, but a couple places that caught my eye, were these ones. Bucks Rack City.
What is it?
Bucks Rack City.
Bucks
Rack
Rack
City.
City.
Rack City,
Rack City?
where the hundreds are in racks and the girls have the bucks. And the racks too. And the racks too. I love this place because they push the food in the buffet really hard. They got nice racks of ribs. They got nice racks of other things. And I feel like James would appreciate the nuances. You know, they got some good food. They got some other things. James likes some food. Remember when he was in Houston, he got a little chonky.
What else?
Another one, Club Risque. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. It's a slam dunk for James Harden. Take it to the rack, from the rack to Risque, put down more Benjamins, get the good times. Club Risque, number 2. And the third one, this one was really fun, guys. It's the Piccadilly Club. You know why? You know what a Piccadilly is?
Oh.
A Piccadilly. Think Billy Shakespeare back in the day. The thing that he was around his neck. That's a Piccadilly. So the Piccadilly Club, you got things around the neck. James Harden's going to go toss more Benjamins down, have the fun times, give James all the fun times at the Piccadilly Club, ace of spades in the champagne room. Let's go. All right, Kev. Kev apparently may have exhausted the business account while he was in Philadelphia. So
I'm proud of his commitment to the task.
The sports stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise may need to cut back on some of the expenses for Kev.
And airtime. Airtime for Kev needs to be.
Oh, I love it. Kev, all the airtime, less expense.
Kev gets pumped. Kev's an excitable character.
I'll donate.
Donate to that cause. We'll get through all of the current tasks and then we'll go to next week's tasks. Jim, you got Bernard?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Bernard, come on. Put the tinfoil hat on. Come on.
You let him out of the basement?
Yep. Hold on. All right. What do you got here? No, he doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to talk. Okay.
What?
He's shy. He only uses the computer. He's done a lot of work though. Let me see what he got here.
He's done a lot of work.
Okay. Bernard, this looks like just a bunch of Russian news and Ukrainian news. Okay, I'm going to read it, but we're going to have to talk about your task next week. Come on.
What was his task this week?
His task was to look up on the gram, Twitter, TikTok, all things Russ Westbrook, Russia, and other sort of words like racing. Bernard, you only came to me with Ukrainian and Russian news. It is sports related, so I'll give you a pass. I know. Get back down there. Okay, I'm gonna get. Merry Christmas to you too. So we have on his list the Cincinnati Bengals tight end and his wife, Drew Sample, and his wife Ange are trying to get their extended family out of the Ukraine. Apparently, his grandmother-in-law is in the basement hiding from bombs. So that's a big deal. We got to make sure.
Makes sense why Bernard brought that one up.
Yep. T's and P's.
He's a
Drew Sample and his wife Ange to getting the family out. An asshat Russian gymnast has been condemned around the world for wearing a pro-war symbol on the podium after losing to a Ukrainian rival, Ivan Kulik. He wore the Z symbol on the podium. Muff, I need you to quit moving the thing. You're very distracting.
It's Bernard.
Yeah. We've also we've talked about the Brittany Griner thing. Bernard, you're gonna have to communicate with Muff in these notes, okay? He's stealing your stuff. Lastly, Bernard gives us a list of Ukrainian sports stars that are fighting in Russia. We have the boxing legends, the Klitschko brothers, are fighting in the Ukrainian conflict. Heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk is fighting. Bernard, I'm not good with names, okay? How about some phonetics here? Former world lightweight champion and two-time Olympic gold medalist Vasily Lomachenko is fighting. Retired Ukrainian tennis player Sergey Stavovsky is fighting.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Go for it.
Dmitro Peteruchki.
Muff and I each paid Bernard $5 to add that name to the
I'm
list.
telling you. A World Pursuit champion in 2019 is also preparing for combat.
Quick.
And
what is Pursuit?
I have no idea. This is Bernard's list. I will talk to him about clarifying this later. And finally, T's and P's, biathlete Yuvev Malashev died. He was 19 years old. He's one of our victims in the sports world of this Ukrainian conflict. So thank you, Bernard, for your contributions. We're going to talk to you about your tasks here in a minute. You're going to have to speak. Get ready. To you guys.
Oh, ready? Are we talking about Bernard's next task? So we're moving on.
We're moving
Moving
on.
on.
Task to come.
Task later.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold on. Hey, Mac, it's your turn. Hey, Alex. It's nice to see you again. My name is Mac. Is there free coffee in the break room still? Yes, there's still free coffee in the break room. You can go ahead. All right. So I traveled to Canada for y'all. I talked to my friends about how to keep their ice rinks ready. So the first thing they do is they frame them out with the wood. Didn't think about that. I was just thinking, you live in Canada, you pour some water out back with the hose and you got an ice rink. There's a lot more that goes into it than you'd think. So basically they make this thing out of wood, right? Any size you want. And they put things in the ice to make like a center line and a center circle. It's wild, man, really. So they frame it out in wood and they pick an area with shade because the shade keeps it cooler so it doesn't melt so quickly. The next most important task is you lay down a top, right? So you lay down a top, but don't make one of them blue tops. You got to get a white because the white reflects the sun. It doesn't absorb the sun, so it doesn't get so hot. I thought that was a very interesting fact. So basically, you fill it all at once because you wanted to make it even. You can't do it in layers now because then it gets all wonky. So adults need at least 3 to 4 layers of ice to hold them. And the maintenance is you got to get the snow off it every time it snows. You can't leave it snowy. If you leave it snowy, it gets a little uneven. You get some bumps and you fall. And each day you use it, you got to coat the top with the hot water. So basically, it's like a human Zamboni. It's called flooding your rink. So all these people are talking about flooding your rink. And I'm like, why would I want to flood my rink? I worked this hard at it. Why would I want to flood it? It just means to pour the hot water on the top real nice. And it makes a real nice sleek area for me to go skating on. And basically, that's why these Canadians are so good. And they call it their baby. So these dads, they build these ice rinks for these kids when they're real young. And then when they hit like 12 or 13, they teach them how to take care of the ice rink. And that becomes the baby. So not only are you invested, you're going to use it every day because you're spending all this time maintaining the ice rink. And that's why the Canadians are so good at hockey. Also, Tim Hortons. Who doesn't love a Timbit? Ate a lot of Timbits while I was up there.
Way to go, Mac. Reporting the news. Yeah, Mac. Any other thoughts, Alex? Now that Mac's back on
Nope.
his task.
He's good. He's still eating Timbits. He brought back a whole lot. So I sent him an extra bag when he went up there, just in case, he got any souvenirs or anything nice for me. He just filled it with Timbits.
So for people that make it to this point in the episode, we need we need your help. We need you to help us decide who the intern of the week was. There may be a poll that goes up on Twitter. You may or may not know if you're voting, if you listen to this far, what you just heard. But
nobody claimed the $5 from last week. I'm starting to worry about the show.
Starting to worry about the show. Okay, next week's tasks. Kev's task. Kev's not going to get to talk for this one. Kev's just going to have to listen. Kev's new task is to find a way to book a meeting with Roger Goodell and explain to him all of the advantages of allowing NFL players to bet on NFL games that they aren't playing in. The only stipulation for Kevin this task is that they can't talk the players on the teams until after the game. So in this case, we'll use Calvin Ridley as an example. Calvin Ridley say he bet on against the Miami Dolphins against insert team, Houston Texans. There can be no discussion that he's put bets on this game until after the game is over. And then they have to publicly share their bet tickets for the world to see. And they get to roast that other team that they either won or lost against in their bets. That's Kev's task this week.
I like it. Get on it, Kev.
All right, Bernard, you ready? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Okay, this is your task. We're gonna lay off Russia. What? Yep. I know you're spending a lot of time, but I need you to take the stress out of your life. Here's your task. Hope you're excited. I want you to focus more on Russ and racing. You can still stay abreast to the Russia issue. Okay, yes. But I want you to focus on more of the Russ and racing. I also want you to look up good air fryer recipes. And we've had a request from some listeners to look into the sport of slap fighting. I want you to be able, I'm getting you out of your comfort zone. I want you to be able to describe the sport of slap fighting. You mean when they slap each other? Yes, where they slap each other. Yes. I want you to be able to tell the guys here all about it. Okay, yes, I can do that. Yes. Okay, go back to your hole.
All right, Mac. You have a new task too. The other two do as well. I know you're really into the maintenance of the outdoor facilities in Canada. So I'm going to talk to you now about what kind of money would people make to maintain various sports complexes, arenas, fields, golf courses, baseball fields, football turfs, basketball courts, etc. Come back with what you can find. Not that I'm looking for a new career, but just like to keep all my options open. Thank you.
I don't know if that was back. I think Bernard ended up in a different hole.
So, Bernard, how many times did I tell you your task was what Jim told you? Okay. Okay. Sorry. Oh yeah. Okay. I can do that. I been always wanting to visit some different golf courses and the baseball fields. It'll be like a little vacation for me. I'll travel around the country in the next week, and I'll get back to you next week. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
And that's dumb intern tasks. If you've come this far, you've got a treat. Maybe you may envision it as a treat. You may envision it as a terrible moment in podcast history. Either way, you made it. We appreciate the loyal listener club for sticking with us through the thick and thin of what is the NFL offseason.
Yeah.
Football offseason, just in general.
Well, no, because remember, the USFL is coming.
That's true.
Jeez, ow.
It's like Game of Thrones. It's like winter's coming, but we're not sure if the USFL is actually ever going to happen.
I might fire Bernard. I'm thinking he's just. I might need to get a new intern.
We're 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in.
It's up to you. He's a little quiet for the business, but I'll let you. You can always keep him and get another one.
That's a good point.
We're not. I mean, we're up. I'm all about growth.
Okay.
We need somebody to run the social media, right?
Yeah, he can be like, behind the scenes guy. I don't think he's really into the
all right
liners.
Well,
instead of 3 credits, he's getting 1 credit.
You know what? I might give Bernard a new task. Bernard, find yourself a replacement.
Bernard's going to be super excited about that task.
He can stay the social media guy, but I need some.
He might honestly, from what I've known of Bernard, the couple times I've managed to interact with him,
yeah,
he might actually like that task.
I think so. We're gonna find a new intern. If you want to be the intern, hit us up in the DMs.
True.
Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, Sports Stuff with W/Jim Ampersand Muff. Same thing on the YouTubes. Get in the DMs if you want to be the intern. really get in the DMs if you really want to be the intern to replace Bernard.
Yeah.
Old Bernie is going to get replaced. Keep with us through football off season. Maybe the USFL will provide us some solace.
We promise it'll get better.
We hope it'll get better. I don't know if we can promise that. And as always, keep up with us week to week. Next week, get pumped. Two shows for the March.
Two.
Do the interns have anything to do with March Madness? The betting episodes? Well, Mac does. Mac gives us weather reports.
That's true.
Do we care about weather inside a basketball arena?
First of all, I always care about the weather, Muff. How many times do I got to tell you I always care about the weather? Muff, don't get him fired up about the weather, please.
Okay. Oh, let us know what you think. And as always, tell a friend. Make a friend. Be a friend.